Hey guys, it's Emu83 here. I've got a super special, exciting announcement for you. There is a new TI-83, the namesake of this channel, the TI-83 calculator. There's a new core in BizHawk for the TI-83. I'm going to show you guys all about it and how to use it. I'm very excited about it. So, thank you, CasualPokePlayer, for making this core and improving it. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what you do to use the new TI-83 TASing core in BizHawk. So, first off, if you go to config cores TI-83 Emu83 once you have the new release of BizHawk, hopefully soon. This will be in an upcoming release, or I will link an interim one in the description if you want to try it out early. But for now, you might have to wait or use the interim release. But once it's ready, you'll go to config cores TI-83 Emu83. Once you click that, you'll also want to open up the keypad here in TI-83 keypad that has all of the keys from the original TI-83 calculator. And another cool thing you'll want to do is go to config controllers and make sure you have some stuff bound here. Make sure you have on bound and make sure you have the send button bound to something. So once you have all of that set up, you should be able to hit the... Oh. I crashed something. Okay, hold on. I was fuddling around too much in the emulator. We're going to reboot it here. You'll need to download a program, but we'll get a little bit more to that in the future here. You want to increase the window size to something like 4 times. That should make it a little bit more manageable as well. And then you'll want to go to config cores TI-83. We have Emu83, and now we can do emulation. Actually, not emulation. We'll just hit the space button. So we bound space to the on key, and you have to hit the on key to be able to use the calculator. And then you should be able to hit things like program, and now you can see all of your available programs, which currently is nothing. Now, to load a program, you need to first download a couple of programs from the veritable site, ticalc.org, a classic of TI-83 programming. There's a lot of great stuff there, but if you search first TI-83 Ion, this is one of the assembly shells for the TI-83. This was very necessary in the original TI-83 calculator to run assembly programs. You had to load up an assembly shell, and that was a fun little thing. So ticalc.org hosts that, but you can find it just by googling TI-83 Ion. And this is an important part because a lot of games rely on this assembly shell. Then next, you'll want to find some games. I have a couple loaded up here, but I'm going to show you how to get to them. If you click on Archives, File Archives, 83, ASM, Games, and then Ion, here's all the games available for the Ion shell for the TI-83 calculator. And a couple that are important for me are Subhunt, Jezball, and Phoenix, wherever that is around here. Yep, so the Phoenix game, and this one is originally from Patrick Davidson. Patrick Davidson was a really important coder for the TI-83. So really a big thanks to him. He did a lot of work on original TI-83 games, and Phoenix was a big part of that. So there's a couple there, like I mentioned, Subhunt and Jezball. So Jezball is a great example. It's a port of the classic game for the early Windows computers called Jezball, where you have to split the screen in half to section off balls without the little splitting utility getting hit by the balls. And the more of the screen you keep the balls out of, the better. So this was implemented for the TI-83 by this Joe guy, so thanks to Joe. And we can download by clicking this button, and you can click download on Ion. Now, this is how you get assembly games. You don't necessarily need to do assembly games. You can also just do basic games. But TI-83 basic games tend to be really, really bad. I know because I made them. And they tend to be very slow. So if you go into TI-83 basic games, and you can see all these folders here. This is strategy. You know, there's a lot of games in here. There's a lot of rated TI-83 basic games, and you can see haul lists here of various games. So now that you know a bit about how to find games, you don't need the Ion shell to load up basic games, but you would for assembly games on the TI-83. And that's an important thing to note here, is that this is just talking about the TI-83. This is not a TI-83 Plus core. It's not a TI-83 Plus Silver Edition core. It's not a TI-84 Plus core or Plus Silver Edition. It's not any of those things. It's just a TI-83 core. And so that's why you need the shells to be able to do assembly games. Because if you go into the archives and look at like file archives 83 Plus assembly games, they don't need those shells that were mentioned in the previous directory. There still is a lot of shells, assembly shells, but they're not as needed. So, having said all that about how to find games for the TI-83, if we go back to the TI-83 calculator here and go to Tools, Multi-Disk Bundler, this is really important here for getting programs ready for play on the TI-83. If you have a program already loaded up like this, you can then click Browse and then click on Ion and click on Ion 83G. And now that these are bundled up in a single XML file, and you can zip up the XML file with the other two files, and we'll save this, close, and then File, Run, jezball.xml. So you can run these files created, these XML files created from the multi-disk bundler. And once you have the code running from one of the ROMs loaded with the multi-disk bundler, you can then hit space again to turn on the calculator, and then you'll want to use that send button. So the files loaded in the multi-disk bundler don't automatically get sent to the calculator. They're only sent once you hit the send button. So I have my middle mouse button bound for send, or at least I thought I did. So I hit it twice there. You can see the yellow light, the disk drive LED light up. That indicates that you're currently sending data. And now when we hit program, you can see the Ion shell is available next to jezball. Now, if we go back over to the keypad here, the program keypad, we'll want to first hit enter and run Ion. And then once it's installed, you want to run A. So let's just go show that again. Second quit, hit the program. First run Ion by going to Ion and hitting enter, and then hit A and hit enter on this. And that brings up the loader. This is basically a launcher for assembly games now. And jezball is one of those Ion assembly games. Now we can hit enter again, and now we can actually start playing jezball. So you would hit second to start a game like it says here. And it's impressively smooth, actually. The new TI-83 core is a lot smoother than the older one, and we should actually be able to play somewhat effectively here. Now, this game has very strange controls. The way you change whether you're splitting top right or up down, sorry, top to bottom or left to right, is by hitting the keys. So, like, if I hit the right key, it switches it to being top to bottom, and if I hit the down key, it switches to left or right. So you'll want to split it top to bottom first and wait for it to get just to the other side before you split. I think the second key, so the second key is bound for the splitting. And then you want to just keep doing these halving operations. So you'd like go over here and then hit second. Oh, but we let the score run out. I was explaining too much. Okay, so let's try that again. Second to start the game, go over to the center, wait for it to get just past, and then, it's second. So you can see that, and then we go back to the right here, go to the center of this split, hit second again. Oh, I split it the wrong direction, but it worked out fine. Okay, so you can see here again. Let's try to split it once they get not too close to the center. Yep. Oh, something broke. We caused a bug. We caused a bug, and it split, but it didn't section off a black area. Oh, it was because there were balls on both sides. It wasn't a bug. That makes sense. There were balls on. Oh, and then I split one of the balls was on top of the cursor. You can see I'm pretty bad at this game. But the goal is basically just to section off halves of the screen until there's no room left for the ball. So different levels will have different requirements for how much you have to split to win the level. Ooh, that one hit the ball. I didn't wait quite long enough after the ball's passed. There we go. And then go back here. So I hit down to flip to left or right. And this is going to be a little bit tricky. Ooh, I got it. I put each ball in its own little court now. So I'm going to try to section off more of this one. Oh, I lost because I split the wrong direction. Like I said, those controls are really janky. So if you wanted to then task this, what you could do is you'd go to config, or not config, you go to tools, task studio. This will reload the ROM without saving. Yes, it's fine. I don't need my... And now you see all these crazy lines in Task Studio because there's so many keys you have to worry about, right? So we can advance the calculator to frame 18. I already know. I think it's 18. And then there's an O for turning on. And you can see it's on now. And then once you get to the green zone, or maybe just past it, you would want to hit program, which I think is P. Yep. But you wouldn't want to hit program. You need to hit your send key first to send the files like we were talking about. Now, once that's done, let's try to hit P again. And yep, you can see here now those are done. So we should be able to then hit enter on that. What does it have mapped as the enter button? Does it have labels? I figured all this stuff out at one point. Yep, it's okay. So it's equal. So if you hit the equal line here, it'll hit enter on a thing, and then let's try to hit enter again. Oh, that's probably too early. Yep. So now we've installed Ion, and we can go back to here, hit A. And now we're TASing opening the Ion shell, and we can hit probably equal again on this to, yeah. So now we've gotten to the opening of Jezball. Now we can hit second, which I cannot for the life of me remember what key they use for that. Is it this caret? Let's rewind and figure out when this actually shows up. So it's painted everything by around this frame. Oh, that's bad. That turned off the calculator. I'm getting way too drawn into trying to figure out which key is the second key. The point is that you can see that we're able to somewhat get through here, TASing on the TI-83 core. And all of these keys here are in various ways mapped to the original keys on the calculator. So that's how you load up games in the Ion shell. You should also just be able to load up a basic game, or you can also do speed coding. So I'll show what I did with the new core here. If I go to BizHawk, I should be able to download my Yep. So I created this temporary testing file, Dalek speed code Emu83. We'll go back here. File open. Save changes no. Downloads. It downloaded as a zip, so we have to then unzip here. Open the BK2. Okay. And now you can see actually how all this works. And you can see the speed coding. And if we hit follow cursor here, it's so beautiful. But that's not the only way to load basic programs is the speed coding. You can do it without speed coding too. So we exit here, reboot the core, and go back to archives, file archives 83, basic games, RPG. Let's just do RPG here. Sure. B Marines. So let's open this. Actually, let's not open it. Let's just go into zip. So let's do file, open ROM, downloads, B Marines, open. So you can see here, there's 83B and 83G. Oh no, it auto detected that as Atari 2600 for some reason. Let's unzip it to B Marines, file, recent ROM, BM intro. No, file, open ROM. It really does not like some of these file conventions. I wonder if it's just like named something weird. Calc files. BM intro.83G. That's very interesting. It must have like auto detected a different game somehow. Let's try a different one. Hey, this person's named Travis. Let's do file, open ROM, downloads, zip, open, 83G, open, TI-83 calculator. Actually, let's click this always use this platform for this extension. And now let's hit our send hotkey and bring back up the TI-83 keypad and hit program. Oh, it's still thinking. So that was a big program it sent over. So let's hit enter on FOF83. And yep, you can see now it's loading the basic game. That's a very well designed gun for 64 by 96 pixels. And he only used like a third of the screen, like less than a third. Okay. Yeah, so I think you guys get the idea now. It might be a little bit rougher on the edges opening ROMs. And it might be you need to worry about some like capital lowercase g stuff. I'm gonna have to ask Casual Poke Player about why you can only open them through zips because that's kind of weird. I don't think that's necessary, but I'll talk to Casual Poke Player about it more. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope that helped you guys with some understanding of how to use the new TI-83 TASing core, and I hope you guys have a great day.